have already seen what went behind the rise of these new ideas. What exactly caused these new ideas to begin in the first place in Europe, right? But we have also discussed the fact that it was a cultural movement, that Renaissance was not only a set of beliefs, it was not only an ideology, but also a cultural movement. So, how did this cultural movement go about, and how exactly was the ideas of Renaissance spread across various spheres in the society is what we are going to learn today. Now, when Renaissance started to spread in Italy, it was not just one cultural sphere that saw the rise and incorporation of the Renaissance ideas. It was primarily the art and architecture in the Renaissance era, which saw various changes that also took place on an ideological base, being incorporated into the pattern of paintings. Thus, the aspect of freedom of expression was also incorporated into the sphere of art and architecture. Thus, we see people like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo bringing about a change in the field of art and architecture during the Renaissance age. So, as they started to be patronized by various wealthy families like that of the Medicis, these people incorporated various ideas of the Renaissance movement, right? Like, for example, new perspectives of shadows and lights was brought in by these painters. So, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo were not only painters, but they were also sculptors, architects, as well as inventors. So now let's look at some of the paintings they created. The first is, of course, the famous painting of Mona Lisa by Da Vinci. Then we have the Last Judgment that was painted in Sistine Chapel. Now, in all of these paintings, for example, even in Annunciation or the creation of Adam, we see that, specific features, humanly expressions are taken care of. The use of shadows and lights are, given a perspective and importance in the picture. Even in the picture of ambassadors. So we have studied that Renaissance became an age of individualistic thought. So individuals became the center. So now these individuals started to be painted as well. Then we have the Garden of Earthly Delights painted here. So it was not only the sphere of painting that saw a change, it was also the area of sculptures that saw independent sculpting taking place. So previously we saw that sculptures were made in accordance to any architectural pattern or any background. So in this age, with change, we saw that independent sculptures being made. For example, if we see on screen, the first sculpture is of Moses by Michelangelo. The second is the Bronze David by Donatello. And the third is the Gate of Paradise by Ghiberti. Now, all these sculptures are eminent sculptures of the Renaissance period. In this very age, we saw the change in architectural formats as well. Now, because this age, as we discussed, was an age where people were migrating from various areas, right? So, then we see that various architectural patterns also see an intermixing of cultures and ideas. For example, churches now took various ideas from mosques as well. So the high roof or the domes, the structure of domes were taken from the aspect of mosques in Islamic culture. As we discussed, therefore, it was not only the field of art and painting and architecture that saw the involvement of the Renaissance ideas. Now, we have discussed that printing press had revolutionized reading. So reading material was readily available to everybody, and now reading material had also become cheap, so everybody could access it. So this brought in a change where more literature started to be written and it started to be circulated, where Renaissance ideas of expression and importance of human emotions was included in the field of literature. So people like Dante and Petrarch set the stage for Renaissance literature. Now, Renaissance started from Italy, but slowly it also was moving to various other places like England, like Scotland, and it was through these various aspects of culture that it was spreading to these areas. So therefore, Renaissance in England and Scotland happened between late 15th century to early 17th century. And it was spread by people like Erasmus, like Shakespeare, Edmund Spenser, and Sir Philip Sidney. Do you recognize this person on screen? That's right, it is Shakespeare. Now, Shakespeare was one of the most eminent literates at that point of time who created literature that involved human expression and human emotion. Shakespeare was also known as the Bard of Avon, and he created various plays like the famous Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, and various other plays that we till now read in contemporary times. The ideas of reason and logic at this point of time also gave rise to various scientific changes, right? So we see that Renaissance and scientific progress complemented each other, and we see that as people started to question the society around them, they were answering these questions based upon various experiments and observations. And from these experiments and observations, we see various innovations and inventions taking place in the field of science. Thus, a research tradition also began that encouraged these scientific communities to come forward and make these changes. I am sure by now you have learned that the sun is the center of our solar system. But have you ever wondered who came up with this idea? Now, there is an interesting fact that during the Greek and the Roman civilizations and in the medieval age as well, it was thought that the earth is the center of the solar system. Now, the person called Nicholas Copernicus changed this idea, and he revolutionized science as well by stating that it was sun which was the center of the solar system, by stating the heliocentric view. So helio is sun, centric is sun situated at the center of the solar system. It was not only the fields like science that saw advancement, but also fields like the field of astronomy, right? Now, Galileo Galilei, who was called the father of modern observational astronomy, invented a new telescope. Now, this telescope had 30% more magnification than the existing telescope. Now, can you recognize this person on screen? That's right, he is Isaac Newton. And Isaac Newton is the discoverer of the gravitational theory. Now, people like Isaac Newton were bringing changes and innovations in the field of science, in the field of physics. Isaac Newton was the person who devised the famous laws of motion in physics, which we today famously know as Newton's laws of motion. So we see that the Renaissance ideas therefore impacted the cultural as well as educational fields, and it traveled from Europe to other parts of the world as well. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly, learn via games, and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.